Hi, everybody. My name is Daniel Villalobos, and with me is one of my best friends, Russell Fung.
Hello, I'm Russell Fung.
And we are the Bangtan Gentlemen. This show is dedicated to the biggest band in the world at the moment, and hopefully for a long time after the moment. BTS, Korean K-pop band made up of 7 men, and we'll get into them. One of them is J-Hope, but we'll get into all of them very, very soon. This show, like I said, celebrates the group, and it celebrates also the fans, Army, as we are called, and we're not the target demographic as some people would say.
Nope.
You know, obviously, it's right, Russell. Like it's. I know a lot of people, it's teenagers. I mean, yes, teen girls, but let's be real before we get too deep into this. Teen girls have driven music since Frank friggin' Sinatra. So let's stop with that. Like that's a negative thing. Okay. But we'll get into that in a little while. Russell, before we get started, because I'm going to talk to you, I want to also say hi to our producers behind the glass. Well, the virtual glass at the moment. Teresa Algotz, what's up? Just say hi.
Hi.
And then Angela Mock is just chilling with us too. What's up, Angie?
Oh my gosh, eh?
All right, good. I know don't worry, Angie. I won't bring you on too much, but I had to call you out because me and Angie have been friends. Angie and I have been friends for a very, very long time, pretty much since I've been in Hollywood. So anyway, just wanted to give a little background on us really quick. Russell, well, let's start with you. What do you do for a living, brother?
Currently, during this pandemic, I work from home. I work as a post-production assistant for a show that's being produced at Warner Brothers. And name drop, sorry. But that's what I do, work from home. I get paid to do PA work.
Yes.
It's great.
Yes, I do the same thing. I am currently working on a Sylvester Stallone movie called Samaritan. I'm a post-production assistant as well, just like Russell. And but we're both writers in trade. We're just not getting paid for it yet. But we will. But right now, the focus is BTS. It's their music, their message, the men that they are. I mean, there's only one way I can describe this group. They are, or the way this group has kind of taken over the world over the last year and a half. Beatlemania is the closest thing. Now, before people at me, I didn't say they're the Beatles. I also didn't say they couldn't become something as big as the Beatles and as influential as the Beatles. We don't know yet. You think everybody knew that in 1964 who the Beatles were going to be? No. But that is the closest comparison I can make to what these boys have done. These men, like they're not boys anymore. The youngest is 23, but they're not. I mean, Russell, I want to ask you. Let's start with you. Where do you? Sorry, go ahead. You have a thought?
I was like, Dad, do you know how often I've heard that when it came to the Jonas Brothers or NSYNC? Like,
what about the Beatles?
About
the Beatles? Yeah.
Yeah, it's like, oh, they're the closest thing to the Beatles. At the time, that people keep saying that, like during the time of NSYNC and then during the time of Jonas Brothers. Yeah. In fact, with the Jonas Brothers, they mimicked the visual imagery of them stepping off of a plane and wearing their trench coats.
Yes.
Black and white photo.
Yes.
But anyway, I digress. Go ahead.
But no, it's okay. There's a difference though, Russell. And let me explain the difference here. Yeah. Those are American bands, and America has always been able to break internationally. The Beatles, at the time, English bands weren't the thing, and the Rolling Stones came a little bit after. That first British invasion was the Beatles, but this is completely different. This is another language that very few people in America who aren't Korean speak. So the way they've been able to transcend all this, like I wish I had the quote exactly from Jimmy Fallon, but he has some kind of quote about how how talent can break the barrier of language or something along those lines. And it might have been charisma. Something, it was something along those lines. But Fallon is definitely Army. Like he loves this band. Like there's so many of the late night hosts that do. James Corden loves them. And John Cena. Like they have a lot of famous John Cena. A lot of famous Army members. And Army stands for something. Teresa, can you help me out? Do you know what it stands for? I can't remember. I I saw it the other day for the first time. If even if you want to send it to me in chat, but I can't remember exactly what it stands for.
I don't know exactly. Let me look it up and I'll be right with you.
All right, thank you. Teresa, by the way, is also Army. She's I mean, both her and Angie are huge BTS fans. But before I want to say, Russell, before I start on, because I've been talking too much, how were you introduced to BTS?
I think the first time I heard of them was like 7 or 8 years ago when I was working for a pop news magazine.
Okay.
And they were called Bangtan Boys at the time. And
where we get the name of this show?
I didn't know that was BTS.
I
didn't know that. And I first heard of BTS in 2019.
Okay. So yeah,
years ago.
That's the same time as I did, yeah.
It was the same way I discovered One Direction, which is anytime I'm at a store, like a grocery store or a makeup store, or just shopping with friends, and I hear a song that I like, I Shazam it on my phone. And every time I hear a new song that I like, I Shazam it. It's always One Direction. And it's a different song from them. I'm like, I must love One Direction.
Well, you love their sound. Their sound speaks to you. I mean, that's cool.
I don't follow them or anything, so I just really love their sound. So the same thing with BTS. The first song I heard was a song called Love Yourself.
Yep.
And that came at a moment when I needed to hear that song because I was going through a lot of emotional turmoil in 2019. Like I've gone through a breakup.
Yeah.
And I was trying to find my new identity outside of a relationship.
I remember all that too. Jesus.
Yeah. And so I heard
feels like forever ago.
Yeah, I was with my coworker from AG and the Queen from Warner Brothers.
Yeah.
We were shopping in Little Tokyo inside a makeup store. And that's where I heard the song. And I Shazammed it. And I listened to it every day nonstop. And that's how I became a BTS fan.
Dude, that's a great story, man, because mine is similar in the sense that like Angela, actually, as you know, we were talking to us earlier, she introduced me to BTS when we were roommates a few years ago. And I want to say it was, dang, I've already been at this place for almost 4 years. Probably about 5 years ago, she mentioned them. And this is when they were starting to like just kind of hit the international scene because they took a while to like hit big. Like their first couple singles didn't do much. Like they charted a little bit, but they didn't, you know, and we'll get into their history a little bit too later. But I mean, most people who listen to this will probably know their history, but maybe not. So Angie talked to them about it, and I listened to a song. I don't remember what song she showed me, and I was like, yeah, that's pretty cool. But I never really like it didn't really grab me at the time. And then about a couple of years ago, about 2019, I saw, I think it was, I can't remember which I saw first, either the Boy with Love video with Halsey, or I saw the Carpool Karaoke with James Corden. But I saw those two things like very close together, probably on the same day. And I liked the song and I was like, actually, you know what? I think it was the Carpool Karaoke first, because I remember hearing, I think it's Jungkook who's singing. And I was like, whoa, dude, that dude can blow. I was like, what is that? And then they were singing The Circles by Post Malone. And I was like, dude, these guys are awesome. And then RM like immediately stole my heart when he said that he learned English from watching Friends, which is one of my favorite television shows. So
wow.
Yeah, and he's young. Like that's a younger generation in another country getting into Friends. So that's pretty crazy that Friends reaches that far. Oh, cool. And it's awesome because it goes to the back seat, and I want to say it's Jin and V who are talking, and Jin says like, you know, I watched it too, but I didn't learn English. It was like super funny, like he's being like, and then they start singing the song, and it's such a they were so endearing in that moment, and the way Corden interacted with them, it was just so like, I was like, I like these guys, I like these kids, and then I fell down the rabbit hole, and here I am. So I pretty much became a BTS fan almost like, I wouldn't say instantly, because obviously Angie introduced them to me, and it took a while. But that day when I saw those two videos, and I fell down the BTS rabbit hole at that time, I was like, yeah, I'm into these guys. So just a real quick thing, like I wanted to ask you, Russell, because I wanted to mention it too, like what other musical acts, either solo or bands, what kind of acts do you also enjoy besides, I mean, you mentioned One Direction. Is there any other bands that you would like say, oh, like this would be in the running for my favorite band of all time? Is there any?
I love Lifehouse.
Lifehouse, hell yeah!
I loved, like, ever since the first season of Smallville. Like,
dude, that's where I listened to them. Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah, and I love the Backstreet Boys. Of course, I love them. Like my favorite song of all time is still from the Millennium album.
Yeah, fantastic
and
album.
I'm saying album names. I don't get the songs right. Like, I think "Love Yourself" is the name of the BTS album, but "Love Myself" is the name of the single from that album that I loved. That made me fall in love with them.
Yeah, I think I know which song you're talking about.
Yeah, and so with Backstreet Boys, "I Want It That Way" is like my all-time favorite song in pop music history. So of my pop history.
And you know what's funny? Okay, and before I get into my musical influences, like I was gonna say, so what I think this show is here to give, it's here to give a unique voice to a group of fans that may not, like I said, may not be the target demographic. But there is so many BTS fans out there that are different ages, different cultures, different religious backgrounds, different, upbringings. Like everything about them is different: male, female, gay, straight. It doesn't matter. Like BTS has fans everywhere and of every shape and size. Now, obviously, the younger girls are going to stick out because when you listen to the shows, that's who you hear screaming. But that's at every show. Like I said, going back to Frank Sinatra, like they had to they couldn't do recordings of Frank live back in the day because number one, the mics weren't sophisticated enough to drown out all the screaming. So this has been around a very long time. That's how it starts, and then they branch out, and that's what they've done here. So my musical background, I'll just do bands because getting into solo artists is going to take too long. So a lot of solo artists that I dig come from some of these bands that I would mention, like Beatles obviously are up there, and this is in no particular order: Def Leppard, NSYNC, Pantera, Rascal Flatts, NWA, New Edition, and I know I'm leaving somebody out, but that's pretty much those are my favorite bands of all time. I can't pick a favorite of all of them, and BTS is right in there, and they've been there now for at least a year. Like I can comfortably say for at least a year they have been one of my favorite. They are one of my favorite bands of all time. And it's just everything about them. Message, like I said, the guys, they're so funny. Like they're hilarious to watch in these candid videos that they do. Like, Russell, help me out here. Is it not overwhelming how much material is out there? Like,
it's very content. Yeah, I'll say this. Like, I'm in my mid 30s. I'd like to say, and at age 35 is the point where like a lot of people kind of settle into their musical tastes, and that's what I read. Like the demographic of men age 36 and up tend to kind of mellow out and aren't really open to new music as much.
Agreed.
Yeah. So, but for me, like that has been the case since age 32 or 30. Like I stopped listening to new music at that point.
Yeah.
It wasn't until BTS came along and I got excited for music again at my age.
Nice, dude.
That's crazy.
That's really cool to hear, dude. I mean, it's one of those things. Like I still listen to new music. Like I really there's a lot of new artists out there I still dig. Like especially in country music, because I wouldn't say it's my main music, but I know it the best outside of maybe hip hop. But like the newer hip hop, like I do love Mac Miller. And I friggin' love Kendrick Lamar, obviously. Like, how can you not love Kendrick? So there's a lot of I love Ariana Grande. So there's like a lot of new music that I am into, but none of it has really hit me. Well, Mac Miller a little bit. Mac Miller's probably going to be in there pretty soon, but BTS has hit me like a ton of bricks. Like, it's just like, I was so excited to see them at the Rose Bowl right before COVID hit. And they sold out 2 shows at the Rose Bowl, which has never been done. And then they nearly sold out 3. They had a third that went on sale, and it was selling out before concerts got shut down. I'm making a prediction, bro. When they come back and they can tour again, which, you know, is unfortunately a few years from now, because there's some things that are happening with their, you know, their army enlistment. We'll get into that a little bit too. I am predicting, and we have this on tape. We have this obviously on recording. 5 sold out shows at the Rose Bowl. I'm predicting that right now. Like, I think it's going to be that big because they're not going to go away anytime soon, much to Gene Simmons' dismay. They're not going anywhere soon, and we'll talk about him later too. But there was something I wanted to tell you or ask you, Russell, and before we go, because we got to go to break soon. You mentioned something about Target.
Yeah, I was gonna bring that up.
Okay, good. I'm glad. I was hoping you didn't forget. Please, this is such a great just go.
Okay, you know how I knew BTS was a big deal? It wasn't that they were on SNL and performed on stage. It wasn't that they were on Jimmy Fallon or James Corden. It was when I was strolling down Target, and I go by the toy aisle, and there were BTS dolls on the end cap. When I say end cap, I don't mean like they were just hung on shelves. They're at the edge of the walkway. You know, end cap is where you promote your like featured sales at Target. And Target is a big like department store in America. It's a huge deal. And
it's probably wow. It's probably the big, well, Walmart's probably the biggest, unfortunately, but keep going.
Dude, now I saw there's like dolls of Asian men on the end cap at Target.
And it wasn't Bruce, and it wasn't a retro Bruce Lee doll. It was like legit young men. Like,
I'd never seen that before because it's crazy that like kids can buy these dolls of Asian men like in America.
Yeah.
And they're pop stars, and that's how I knew they were a big deal.
Yeah.
It blew my mind. I couldn't believe it.
I'm gonna lay out a little before we go to break here. I'm gonna lay out. Well, number one, I want to say this. My mom bought those. It was a Jimin and I think a V doll for my nieces. My nieces have no idea. They're 8 and, well, at the time they were 6 and 8. Now they're 8 and 10, but they had no idea who BTS was. And I saw the dolls and I was like, these are BTS. This is BTS. This is that Korean band I keep telling you guys I just suddenly got into. And they're like, oh, is that what that is? They were all over Target. So I was like, oh, my mom was like, oh, the kids might like these. They like dolls. So I wonder how many people just brought home random BTS dolls, and then the kids are like, who's this? Oh, I'm gonna go find out who this is, and then became Army. Maybe that's just something we could figure out. But anyway, dang, I forgot. I lost my train of thought. I was gonna mention something anyway, but we're gonna go to break anyway right now because we gotta take a second. So we will see you guys momentarily when we get a little bit more into BTS. See you in a sec. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Bangtan Gentlemen with Daniel and Russell. So when we went to break, I had a thought that I completely forgot that Russell made me think of, kind of, as he was telling his story. But he said something off pod, and we're going to mention this too, because there's a video you guys should definitely see that I need to go watch. But BTS starts getting worldwide fame, around 2018, 2019, where they really start breaking it everywhere. Like they've been around. They had some big hits in 2017, 18, but it seems like 19 was like, their big coming out party. So right after that happens, a Korean movie wins Best Picture. And now this year we have a bunch of Asians represented at the Oscars. Rock on. An Asian woman won for a Golden Globe for director. Awesome. I know I'm leaving something out here. We got our first legit like major Asian superhero coming this summer, or supposedly this summer, in Shang-Chi.
Yeah.
So I mean, bro, there's a lot of people out there that are talking smack on Asians right now. You know why? Because you guys are taking over. You guys are taking over. Now, in a good way, but like now you're finally getting, like you said, like you're getting representation like you deserve. Everybody deserves equal representation. Like there's nothing wrong with that. Like, that's not communist. That's not socialist. That's not political even. That's not religious or anything. That's just, this is America. Everybody deserves a chance to be something. You know, yes, we got to work for it to get it. Nothing should be given to us. That's not what I'm saying. But everybody should be given the equal chance. So, Russell, what do you think about my theory there? Do you think BTS maybe open the floodgates?
Remember that time when Psy did Gangnam Style and he
Mm-hmm.
had
I love that song.
one most viewed video on YouTube.
Good call, brother. That's
time.
A good pull.
Yeah, and then there were all these think pieces from like non-Asians, like commenting on the takeover of Asians in popular culture. And but since then, I haven't really like it hasn't really like taken off the way people thought it would.
Yeah.
Right? So, but this time with BTS, I feel like there are a lot of think pieces are acknowledging like their undeniable talent. Like, but at the same time, you have these detractors too that are dismissing them as a fad or a boy band or so I don't know what else to say other than we'll see. Like what happened at the Grammys, like it was infuriating, like what happened this week, because like in my opinion, and I'm sure a lot of people's opinions too, they clearly deserved to win that Grammy nomination for that, the Grammy award for that category that they were nominated for, right?
Agreed.
But they didn't get it. And I don't know what to say about that. It's just the Grammys are known for being controversial, and I don't know what else to say. I'd go into a rant and I don't want to get into it.
No, it's okay. We're gonna let you rant because actually the Grammys is gonna be in our last segment. We're gonna talk about that because I want to bring. I'm gonna hold back until we get to the end because I have a couple of thoughts there too. But I want hold on to that rage, Russell. Okay. We're gonna keep it clean, but hold on to that rage. We're gonna
answer your question quickly.
We're gonna let you.
Though,
yeah.
Like, do I think that BTS is gonna break barriers and
I think they already have.
They already have, but a part of me, like, because I'm Asian, right? And so like a part of me has
you
seen
are
what happened. Oh yeah. In case you can't tell, but like I'm kind of like cautiously optimistic because I've always seen like when something should have blown up, it doesn't happen, and there are so many barriers. There's like a lot of prejudice in our country, and
a little bit.
And there's this thing that we call the bamboo ceiling, and which is the idea that like Asians can only ascend to a certain point. And
wow,
so I don't want to be too political here, but that's my worry. That's what I really worry about, which is like.
I mean, that's dude. That's a good. You know, we're not going to get super political in this, but at the same time, there's no reason why we shouldn't touch on it a little bit because it is, part of BTS's, rise, because one of the biggest things they've done, they spoke at the UN as ambassadors from South Korea. And what they had to say was awesome. Like if you guys, I don't want to, I'm not going to repeat it all here, but go look at RM's speech because RM delivers it because he speaks fluent English. He's the only one that does. They all can understand a little bit, they can get by, but he speaks like, so he was the spokesman. I think it was just him. But anyway, I have to watch it again. But anyway, like it's what you're saying, like even with the coronavirus, like there's still some idiots out there that blamed every single person that was Asian because of the virus. Like that's the kind of people we're dealing with. That's not the majority, which is cool. But obviously that spark is going to get blown up because it happened. And it should be talked about. It's unfair. Like you reminded me of a quote that Shaquille O'Neal had when he was playing for the Lakers, and he signed his first really big deal. It was right after he left the Magic, and it was a couple of years after, I think, he signed his really big deal. And he said that America will let a black man get rich, but he won't let him get wealthy.
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, and that kind of stuck with me because I was like, huh. Because I thought about it, I was like, it's not that I didn't know the difference. I knew what he was saying, but I thought about it, and I was trying to think about all the black men that were wealthy, and everyone you think of, looks like our former president, unfortunately. You know, it's and it's not saying that they're all like him, but I mean they're all like billionaires. That's what they look like. You know, I'm not saying there's that, because I mean I think, although I don't even think Jay-Z's a billionaire. Maybe he is. Maybe he crossed the threshold. Him and Puffy might have crossed the threshold because they're pretty rich, but still rich. You know, not wealthy. So there might be something to what you're saying there, Russell. There's something about this country that will give just enough equality to keep a part of it comfortable. You know, or that part of it's comfortable with, I should say.
Yeah, I mean, I will say this is like a completely new topic, but what I love about BTS is how they express themselves, like how they make it okay to talk about mental health, how they make it okay to show other sides to masculinity. So there's a whole other side of masculinity that is untapped and left to explore, because like certain cultures don't want to go there. They don't want to go to like the touchy-feely aspects of being a man. And so what I like about BTS is they have 7 dudes. They all look similar.
Yeah.
They all look different, right?
Yeah.
And
they're all very unique.
Very unique, and they're very open about their feelings. They're not emotionally stunted, and they really are outspoken about the mental health of this world and of their gender too.
Totally.
And yeah, and we don't know what their orientations are. Like it's not really that important.
It's not relevant anymore. Like unless they want to share it, it's really not relevant.
Yeah, because like you can go into like, oh, is any of them gay or LGBTQ or whatever, but then it's like that's not the point. The point is like they are male presenting, I would say.
Yeah.
And they are really pushing the conversation and the culture towards a type of masculinity that we have yet to explore. So
you know what, it's funny that you say this, because men have been fighting this battle like it's for so long about, you know, whether being too sensitive is not manly enough, and not even putting aside sexual orientation, which for some reason stupid people like to confuse with, you know, expressing feelings. But either way, it doesn't matter. That has no bearing. What it is that, you know, there's been athletes talking about, like recently Dak Prescott, the quarterback for the Dallas Cowboys, talked about, you know, mentally struggling with being a professional quarterback and all the pressure that comes with it to perform, you know, regardless of how rich you are. And there were stupid idiots, and I'm going to name them because I hate him, Skip Bayless from ESPN. I hate this MFer. I dislike, I'm going to stop using the word hate. I'm trying to get that word out of my vocabulary. I disliked Skip Bayless, or most of his takes. But anyway, he attacked Dak Prescott for being like, oh, you know, this is the problem with, you know, with football nowadays. You got a bunch of guys who need to express their feelings and can't handle things and need therapy. I'm paraphrasing, but that's the kind of stuff Skip Bayless says. And I guarantee you it's very close to what he said. So there's so many people out there that it's this generation has gotten to the point where, hey, it's okay to be a man and express your feelings. Like it's definitely okay. It should be okay for anybody. And I agree with you. I love BTS's message about be who you are, be yourself. Yes, this is something that, you know, Lady Gaga has been preaching for a while too, but that's a woman saying it. And there's probably men, straight men at least, that aren't listening to her message because it's just like, oh, she's just, you know, pretty woman who sings music. Yeah. Okay, whatever. Not going to listen. But when you got men coming at you and saying it's okay, and then you got athletes coming at you saying it's okay. Hey guys, I've known this for a long time. I cry during television shows. It's okay. It's okay. You know, I cried when Luke Skywalker came on the screen in The Mandalorian. I just started watching This Is Us. That show's made me cry like 6 times an episode. So it's okay. Feelings are good. So thank you, BTS, for doing that for us, brothers, because they all, like, I've read some stories how they have saved people from suicide because they've discovered their music, discovered their message, discovered them, and bought into it and said, oh, because it's, it's a wonderful world we have fallen into, Russell. And what I like about us is, like you said, you didn't know what Bangtan was was BTS when you first thought of it. You just figured that out. So we're coming into a world almost like newborns. And Army out there, if you're listening, we would love you to interact with us. We'll give you our Twitter handles and all that good stuff, and Instagrams or whatever, so you can reach out to us, because we would love to hear from you guys. Because I am just learning about things. Like, I just learned what bias meant and comeback. And I see on our notes something about, I don't know what this means. Maybe Russell or Teresa, you can help me out. ULT bias. Is it that ultimate bias? Is that what it stands for?
I don't know what ULT bias is.
Okay.
Go ahead.
Alt bias.
Alt bias.
Alt bias. What's that?
So alt bias means that like your alt band bias. So if a K-pop listeners obviously listen to more than one.
Oh, so who's their favorite? Their favorite.
So your alt bias is BTS.
Yes, very true. I've only barely dipped my toe in anything else. Like, I've listened to a little bit of Blackpink, a little bit of Shiny, and a little bit of Super M, and a little bit. I think I can't remember the name of it, but Angie introduced me to them. Like, I know she likes one of the guys. And oh my god, I want to say it's either TCT or TXT or is it NCT? I don't know.
NCT 127.
There you go. That's the one with the 400 members. But no, I'm just kidding. I'm exaggerating. It's not. It's like 20 members. 23 members. So I thought it was 127. That's what that number meant, but that's not what it means.
127. Okay.
But anyway, so there definitely is some other good music out there, but I like it. But I'll say this: after listening to 2 or 3, like the other day, I'm starting to get into Shiny. So I listened to 2 or 3 of the songs of theirs, and I liked them. But I was like, man, I want to hear this one BTS song now. Like, it just makes me want to listen to BTS more. So, because right now when I'm playing music, it's just a BTS playlist that starts from their first album to their last, and it's just kind of a constant loop. And I'll throw in other songs in there. I'll add to queue. Like, I've been listening to a lot of 90s stuff recently, 90s rock and pop and stuff, and hip hop, and I'll throw that into the rotation, but it's always playing BTS. So whenever my queued songs end, it goes right back into BTS.
Nice. What I can say about the thing about ARMY, the BTS fan base, is from what I've seen, they're welcoming to anybody that enters.
Yes, very much so.
With me, we're like older dudes, and like, we don't know a lot, but they're not gonna judge us, and they'll correct us or they'll educate us, but they're not gonna like gatekeep us.
No,
they're not gonna do that. And ARMY, I'm sure, will have their detractors, but a majority of ARMY are loving and welcoming and a part of this whole community that makes it like not toxic.
Yeah, totally. They're the anti-toxic. Like, this is fandom, like, at its best. Like, I wish we could sick the ARMY on some of the Star Wars trolls that exist in our Star Wars world, Russell, because there's some of them out there that are just evil, like the ones that drove Kelly Marie Tran off the internet. This wonderful, beautiful soul that everybody should experience more of, and now she's not on there because it's a small group of Star Wars fans, but it's a loud, annoying one. So if we could only sick the ARMY on them, they'd be done. ARMY could end so many things. Like, it's just they when BTS donated $1 million to the Black Lives Matter movement, ARMY matched it. That matched the $1 million. Like, that's amazing. And that's just
hashtags. Remember when they took over hashtags?
Oh yeah, dude. I love when they do that.
Crazy.
So we're gonna go to another break here soon, but I just wanted to mention, we keep talking about ARMY, we're talking about the fans. We definitely want to have some ARMY on our show too. So like, eventually we'd like to get different fans of different walks of life, but definitely as many representations that we can find out there, because like, like for example, comeback. You know, there's a bunch of terms I don't know. I thought when I kept hearing like this band's comeback, this is BTS's comeback, I was like, what? They're not broken up. What do you mean comeback? Like for me, being an old man, comeback means the band goes away for a while, like Kiss, who we're going to talk about later, goes away for a while, and then they go on a reunion tour, and then they go on a farewell tour, and you know, it's like comebacks like mean like somebody went away, and BTS has been popular for like 5 years now, and I saw that and I was like, what does that mean? And I kept seeing it everywhere, but it just means, from what I understand, it means that this is the new album, or the new music, basically. That's what the comeback is now. So it's the lead up to the new music. Like they'll always do, like there's a lot of BTS videos called comeback videos, and they're snippets of the songs, you know, with you know, usually some kind of video. Usually they're not usually in the video. It's usually like an artistic expression, like animation or you know, video photography. But anyway, let's go to break, and when we come back, we're gonna talk that Grammy BS. All right, we'll see you real soon, guys. We're back. We are back, everybody. How's everyone doing? For those of you who are just new to BTS, what Russell and I are throwing up are not gang signs. They are the Korean sign language for love, I believe. I think it's love. But it's just BTS is like, you know, they do it all the time. They throw it up all the time. But anyway, so before we get into the news, which is what we're gonna, and we'll discuss the Grammys on the back end of the news, but I wanted to mention how Russell and I fell down the BTS merchandise hole. And what did you buy there, Russell? You were showing it to me off pod there, and you sent a text the other day with a picture of it.
These are the Samsung Galaxy Buds, and my baby brother got this for me for Christmas, and they're adorable.
Nice.
I don't need them, honestly. I already have the Kylo Ren ones, and I have Apple AirPods. So this is my third set of AirPods or AirBuds, and
yeah,
I didn't want to return it. I didn't want to sell it. I didn't want to re-gift it. So I love these.
Yeah, dude. Hell yeah, man. That'd be the only reason to own would you say it's a Galaxy one?
Yeah, it's Galaxy, and you know, it comes with photo cards. They're like trading cards. It comes in this hidden compartment in the back of this box, and oh my god, when I open it, it's got the members of BTS on a card. So
you guys have no.
This is Jin. I think this is RM. Is this Suga or is this J-Hope? I
no,
cannot
it looks
tell
like,
you.
I think it's Jungkook. No, it's Suga. I think it's Suga. I can't tell actually. That's a good call. Show me the other ones. I'll know by the other ones. That's J-Hope right there.
I'm not
behind
sure.
Jungkook right now. That's J-Hope. That's J-Hope.
J-Hope, okay.
Yeah.
And this one is Jimin for sure.
That's Jimin's. That's Mochi, baby Mochi. Yeah.
Tae is that his name?
Yeah, Taeyong. That's V.
And then
hi guys, I'm V.
This one's Jungkook.
That's Jungkook. So that means that was Jin. Show me the other one again. Wait, no, you showed Jin first. That was Suga. That is Suga. That's Suga. Suga. You think about Suga is like he has so many different like facial expressions and poses, but he has like a very like, okay, he has this look that he always does. Like hell yeah, J-Hope. He has this look, Suga, like this smile that he gives when it's like it's kind of an awkward smile. And our girl Teresa, that's her bias is Mr. Suga. He does this little like I can't even do it. Like he just does this smile where his lips like almost look like a cartoon lips because they kind of curl like into a W. And he's just.
I still can't tell these two apart though. J-Hope and Suga. I
just still, maybe in that picture, but not. I don't know. Usually I could tell them apart pretty easily.
Okay. So don't hate me.
Don't
hate me. I'm still learning the faces and the names.
No, nobody's gonna hate you. You know, the funny thing is like some of these gentlemen share the same last name, so they might be cousins somewhere along the line. Although their last name that they share is Kim, or I think it's Gim, is how you say it in Korean, which is like one of I think it's the most popular last name in Korea, or the most prevalent, I should say.
Kim and Park.
Anyway, What's this you're showing me? Is it another card? Does it say on the back of the card? Does it say anything on the back of the cards?
Oh, on these cards,
are they just like photos? Oh, they're like wallet photos. Remember those, kids? No, you don't, because you're kids. We used to carry around photos in our wallets. We had this little clear film. Like, anyway, so this is, you know what's hilarious about this though is I just get this big smile on my face when I because I have found a collector in arms in Russell, because I know a lot of people that have collected stuff over time, but not like Russell does, and what I used to. And he got me back into it. Now I'm buying toys again, and it's just
if they had big action figures, I would buy them.
Oh, I'm on it, dude. I'm on it. Anyway, I can't. There's probably a show not too far behind eventually with these guys, or a comic book or something. Anyway, so before we get into the news, just the last thing I was gonna say, the rabbit hole I fell down was the t-shirt one. This was the first one I bought, was J-Hope. He's not my bias. Like, I don't really have a favorite. Like, he was my first, I guess. Like, he was the first one that I like that drew me kind of in, like, with his personality, and I really liked his rap in Boy With Love. Like, it's like my favorite part of the whole song. And then I heard his song he did with a Latin artist named Becky G, who I really enjoy.
Oh, I loved her.
And she did Chicken Soup, which is a remake of a song. And Teresa had told us off pod that, I can't remember, how much was it, Teresa? How much did he pay for the rights to that song, Chicken Noodle Soup?
2.7 million.
Yeah, so a big amount. And the person he bought was a girl, right? He bought it from? It was a woman who won the song?
Woman.
Yeah. So she's been out of the music business for years and years and years. And J-Hope would really like that song, and he bought it and he made it his own. It's a trilingual song, baby, because it's in Korean, English, and Spanish. So it's a fantastic song. Chicken Noodle Soup. Wow. Check it out. And it's on his Hope World mixtape, because the boys and we'll talk about those, because this show we won't get into the music, because that's a deep rabbit hole. We'll go album by album and everything. We'll get into the BTS music and everything. But this is just going to be this is just an intro to everybody, so you guys know where we're coming from as a 30-something-year-old man and a 43-year-old man that is into this Korean boy band that is taking over the world. And this is my cat, Leroy.
Okay.
Leroy, get out of here. Get out of here. Okay. And by the way, guys, I can't wait to do the show in the studio with you when Angie and Teresa are going to be literally behind the glass, the producers behind the glass, not the virtual glass, because that's COVID hopefully is coming to an end, or at least the pandemic part is coming to an end. Unfortunately, COVID's going to be with us forever, like the flu, but we'll be fine, just like we were with the flu. But anyway, I can't wait to get back in the studio, and because Russell and I had done a couple in studio right before the pandemic hit, and it was fun. So much fun being in person. And anyway, so let's get into the news. We'll finish out the show. And now my cats are trying to kill each other. That's fantastic. So first bit of news. I finally saw Unplugged. BTS did an MTV Unplugged. I didn't even know MTV did Unplugged still, to be honest with you. But I obviously didn't know MTV did music anymore. There was a great meme the other day that said it was MTV's like, I think it's their 40th anniversary this year. And it said, thank you for the 12 years of music. So, but anyway, I want to get this thing in full. I want to get it on an album. I want to get it on a DVD or Blu-ray, whatever, or even if digital, whatever, however I have to buy it. But they have most of the videos on cut up on YouTube, and they're on Bangtan TV. So the Bangtan, I don't know if that's what I can't remember if that's what the YouTube's called, but I think it's called something like that. Or I think it is. Or no, it's Big Hit. Sorry, Big Hit, because that's the name of the company that started them. And we'll get into their history one of these shows too, probably the next one. But most of you guys out there listen to us, hopefully already know that. Anyway, so the news, Unplugged. There's so many cool things in this Unplugged video, but I just want to point out, like, one thing that I really enjoyed was I think it was Suga. Somebody's wearing a Donald Duck shirt, and I love the Donald Duck shirt. And then I think it's Jimin is wearing a Huey, Dewey, and Louie jacket.
Tail.
Yeah, exactly. And so, I mean, it's I love the way these guys dress. Like, I know they probably have costumers, but I also know that they obviously have a say in the way they dress. Like, there's no way that they just get dressed and thrown out there, because unlike a lot of other K-pop groups, which I know a lot of people think there's a misconception that they're under strict rules for certain things. Obviously, no drugs, Most of them can't really date in public. There's a few little things just to focus on keeping a tight bubble. And I kind of get that. I kind of get that a little bit. It might be a little restrictive, but this is a different culture, and I don't think they feel anything about it. So, but BTS is a little different because if it wasn't for them, Big Hit wouldn't be a thing. Big Hit was struggling, and BTS put them on the map. But Big Hit also put them on the map because a few of the members got rejected from the big companies because the big three, I don't know, the SM is one of them. I can't remember what the other two are called. But they got rejected, a couple of them, because they didn't meet the Koreans beauty standard.
Oh, wow.
Even though every single one, all 7 of these men are good looking dudes. And I've always said all 7 could be solo artists on their own, but I'm so glad they're not, because together it's magic. It's absolute magic. But it's dynamite. Get it? Anyway, but moving on, Unplugged. Yeah, Unplugged did you see it, Russell? You said you haven't seen it.
I didn't know that was Unplugged. I saw that video though, where with the Donald Duck shirt and the Huey Dewey Louie jacket. Yeah. I didn't know that was
all right, cool.
Unplugged though. I just
yeah. No, it is. So anyway, so the next thing we talk about, there was another event called the Music Cares event, and they did Dynamite, and Jungkook is friggin' playing the friggin' drums, while he's singing, lead singing. Like there's very few people that can do that. Phil Collins can do it, from Genesis, and then later Phil Collins. But I have my sister-in-law who's a recording artist, Anna Victoria. I saw her perform, and she played the drums and sang Michael Jackson's Billie Jean. And I couldn't believe, I've never seen it live, and it was amazing. And Jungkook sounded fantastic. By the way, I still don't know if I'm pronouncing his name right. I don't even know if we've said all the boys' names. We'll just go in age order. It's Jin, it's Suga, it's RM, it's J-Hope, Jimin, V, Jungkook. I cannot believe I got all that right without thinking about it. As far as their ages, ranging from the ages.
I didn't even know how to do that.
Yeah, because that's the way I kind of like try to look at them, because I don't like to single, even though I'm wearing a J-Hope shirt, but I don't like to single each one of them out, in the sense that I want to like celebrate their individuality, but I just love the group BTS. I love them as a group, and I want that. I don't like sometimes that Jin gets shortchanged. Like sometimes when they bring on another artist to guest on the song, a new remix, his verse is the one that gets cut out. The dude's a fantastic singer. How did I get the age wrong? Tell me. I got it right.
No, it goes Hosek first, then RM.
Are you sure?
For sure. I even just Googled it just to make sure I was sure.
Right. I switched it, but they're the same age, at least. Just different months.
We have a back.
Yeah, they are. Is it like
RM's 26 and Hosek's 27?
Well, that's because he just turned 27.
That's correct, but he's still 27.
I know, but they were 26 at the same time at one time.
You're right.
So they will be 27 at the same time in one time. Anyway, sorry. All right. Sorry, RM and J-Hope. I mixed you guys up. Hobie, I know you'll forgive me, because you always got a smile on your face. And RM's way too intelligent to get to care about any of that kind of stuff. He's above that. The dude actually has a legit like IQ level, or genius IQ level, or genius level IQ. Jesus, I obviously don't. Anyway, so moving on with the news. So check out Unplugged, check out Music Cares. They're both on YouTube. So Suga just had a birthday, March 9th. It was it called Yugi Day? Is that what they called it? Or
like Yugi Day or something?
Yungi, yeah, because his real name. Min Yungi, Teresa's favorite.
Teresa's bias.
Yeah, Teresa's bias. I mean, Suga's an absolute badass. Like his two mixtapes are they're hard. Like people who think that these guys are just like bubblegum pop, number one, they're not. And if you listen to the lyrics, they talk about acceptance. They talk about, suicide. They talk about dark stuff. They talk about real stuff that kids their age, men their age, people their age face. So it's legit lyrics. It's not bubblegum pop. Yeah, there might be a few songs in there just like Dynamite's bubblegum pop, but that's because, you know, they're not going to be able to write super complex lyrics in English, at least anybody outside of RM. But and that song wasn't about that. That song was just about having fun. That song did exactly what it meant to do. Got people dancing, got people happy, got people smiling, got people laughing. That's what we needed. But Suga's like, yeah, his mixtapes are awesome. You know, he has and then RM did a song. He did a few. He has a mix. I don't know if he has two. He might have two mixtapes as well. All the rappers have mixtapes. I don't think any of the singers have one yet, but all the rappers have. So the way it is in case you guys don't know, there's 3 rappers and 4 singers. RM, Suga, and J-Hope are the rappers, even though all of them have decent singing voices. And the singers are Jungkook, V, Jimin, and Jin. And Jungkook actually has an awesome hip hop voice, awesome rap voice, but they don't let him use it very often. Early songs they do, but like he did Suga's verse very recently. I can't remember which song, when Suga was like out of commission because he couldn't because he had a shoulder surgery recently. I don't know if it was right or left shoulder. And you could see it in the show they did on New Year's Eve, the second one they did, which Angie and I watched, because they did 2 shows on New Year's Eve. And I got to see the first night on YouTube, which is awesome. It's in its entirety on YouTube, Russell. You should watch. It's a 2.5-hour show, and it's sick. Oh, wow. It's sick. But Suga hurts his arm in the second one. You can tell when he's dancing, he's kind of favoring it, and he's not doing the moves quite as quickly because his shoulder has been like, he's had a torn shoulder. I don't know exactly what it is, but ligaments torn in his shoulder for like 3 or 4 years. And it just got progressively worse because he never really got it taken care of because he didn't have time. They were touring, they were making music, like he just didn't have time. And he didn't tell anybody. He suffered in silence, basically. No, I'm good. Because that's Suga. Like he's not gonna whine about his broken shoulder. He's just gonna get out there and dance and rap.
Fact check.
Fact check what? He was ran over by. I didn't say how he got injured, did I? I just know he hurt his shoulder.
Right.
No. I'm not saying he hurt his shoulder during that show, but I'm just saying like during the show, the injury like kind of like came back. Like it got worse during that show. Like he did something during that show that re-injured him basically.
Oh yeah, no, but he injured it 8 years ago.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like it was years ago. I didn't know how long it was, but yeah, I knew it was years ago, and he just never really got it taken care of, and it just kept recurring and kept coming back. But maybe he's afraid of the doctor. There's some of us out there that kind of are. It's not that we're afraid of the doctor per se. We're just afraid of the doctor, what the doctor might say. Anyway, so for Suga's birthday on March 9th, he donated 100 million won. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, which is $88,012 to the Kim Young University Dongsan Hospital in Daegu, 302 kilometers southeast of Seoul. And it was on his birthday, and it's for pediatric cancer. I mean, obviously there's very few things that you could give to that are more important than the health of children. And I swear to God, every time I see those cancer commercials, it breaks my heart every freaking time. Like I want to get rich just so I can donate to that. Like I donate a little bit, but I don't have money to really be a philanthropist. But if I could, like that, just like Suga. Hell yeah, man. Min Yoongi, you the friggin' man. I love it because they did they were doing an interview like right before I came on the pod. I was watching an interview that RM was doing with Suga about Telepathy, the song. Like because I think all 7 songs are different guys, although Dynamite seems to be all of them, but Dynamite might be Jungkook's anyway, but I have to look into it more. But each one of them got a song basically on that album, which is 7 songs. Makes sense. And because Suga said he wrote like 4 or 5 songs for the album, and none of them got picked. But this was a song he wrote like forever ago, and this is the one that got picked. Which he just wrote it. It wasn't even for BTS because he says when he's bored he writes music. Like that's the thing that pisses me off, and we're gonna get into that now. This is gonna segue into our Grammy reaction because because of the negativity that surrounds them from some people, like the older guard, that for some reason can't deal with their success. And I'm going to mention him by name, and that's Gene Simmons from Kiss. I'm a big Kiss fan. Like, I've been listening to Kiss for a long time, but it's ironic to me that this man says, like, oh, they're going to fade away just like NSYNC did. NSYNC didn't fade away. Justin Timberlake went solo and is one of the biggest artists on the planet. So, and don't sleep on NSYNC, because I guarantee you they're going to come back someday. There's no way they're not. They are definitely going to come back someday. So, and the Backstreet Boys are still making music. They're still selling out shows. Yeah, it's not arenas and stadiums, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Bon Jovi did it in longer than anybody, but even he can't do it anymore. So sit down, Gene Simmons, because guess what? You're lucky your fans didn't grow up and they were listening to a gimmick for the past 50 years or however long you've been making music. Because your 70s music, and I'm this is being honest, sucks. The 70s music of Kiss is not great. Their 80s music is fantastic, but their 70s music, which is what they're most known for, is garbage. They got by painting their faces, spitting blood, that long tongue. They can play. They're musicians, but this is where I get upset about it. Trying to say that BTS aren't real musicians and they aren't talented. Number one, do you know how hard it is to dance and sing and to learn all that choreography? That is so hard. They've been training for years to do this. Years. They gave up their childhoods to do this. Okay? Like, they play instruments. You know, Suga plays guitar. Jin plays piano. We talked about Jungkook playing drums. I'm sure the other guys play some instruments too. Even if they don't, they all are in the writing of the music. Yeah, their producers help with that, but all producers help write music. That's what producers do. So don't give me this thing, Gene Simmons, that they're not real musicians and they're not real artists. And because you're wrong. You are 100% wrong. And I'm going to keep bringing up the Beatles because they are a great comparison. Everybody dismissed the Beatles. Elvis Presley, same thing. Dismissed him. He's a fad. He's nothing. All right? Kiss. I'm sure you guys got friggin' dismissed. You should have. You look silly. But I think it's awesome. Just like I think it's awesome what these boys are doing. All right? Sorry. Rant over. Let's get into the Grammys because I'm going to let you do your rant now, Russell. So I will give my small reaction to the Grammys after I hear yours because I just went off on a massive rant on Gene Simmons. Go.
I mean, a lot of people pointed out that every performance of Dynamite is different. They don't repeat
right?
a performance.
Right?
Like, different. And it's just I just didn't like how the Grammys kind of like put the category into a non-broadcasted segment. And
yeah, like the technical awards at the Oscars.
yeah, and then like they didn't win, which made it even lamer, and they pushed the performance to the very end of the Grammy Awards. Like,
well, that's okay because the closers usually are the best.
Okay, so
closers are cool. That's respect. That's respect. But it's also cheating because they're trying to get all the BTS fans to watch the entire show until that.
Yeah.
They didn't get me. Sorry, go.
No, I don't know what else to say. Like I had a lot of fresh things to say like when it happened, but now it's been like a few days and I'm just kind of over it. It's exactly so the Grammys did exactly what I thought they would do, which is not award the person or the group that deserved it. Not to say that Ariana Grande and was it Lady Gaga?
Yeah, Lady Gaga. Nothing on them. Yeah,
they're totally talented. Everyone deserves their awards, but BTS was very special because of their ubiquity throughout the whole pandemic, and you know, for them to break through to the US is a big deal. And I don't know what else to say. I don't want to sound like a sore loser kind of person, but I know a lot of ARMY's upset. You know, our producer Teresa, yes, say than I would.
Yeah, and if she wants to give her thoughts, I don't know if you wanted, Teresa. I know you were afraid you wouldn't be composed during this, but did you want to say anything about it?
I just want to say that I think you know, in 1996 I was a kid and Hanson didn't win what they were and it was a real big blow, but I got over it. But as an adult and being a BTS fan, and I think it's different. I think I'm more upset now because I see why they didn't win. Like as a kid, I never would have really thought that xenophobia or even just like pushing out Asian music would be even a thing, right? I mean, the reason why Hanson didn't win, maybe because it's that children, they were children at that age, aren't taken seriously.
Yeah.
But I think it just hurts my heart more when I think that it was a race issue. And I feel so strongly for these guys because just like Russell, they really got me through a tough couple of years. You know, it was kind of like building up to 2020 was, you know, obviously a pretty bad year, and they've made me happy in terms of like I just use their music for my mental health and their content for my mental health. And I think that Dynamite was such a great song, and I think that it just really hurts because I want them to be treated better. They deserve better, and they were, you know, pooped upon, and it just that's all I have to say about it.
And thank you, Teresa. I appreciate your thoughts. I hope what I'm going to say makes you feel a little bit better. But first, a little bit background about me and the Grammys. So I have a similar story as your Hanson story. So back in 2001, first of all, before we get to that, what I think is the worst part about the Grammys is not that they lost that Grammy, was the fact that that's the only Grammy they were nominated for. That's the biggest BS. They should have been nominated for at least 2 or 3 others. Best album for sure for Map of the Soul 7. What was Map of the Soul 7 2019? Maybe it was a year ago.
No, Map of the Soul 7 released in 2020.
Oh, 2020. That's right. Okay, good. So it was eligible. So that one should have been nominated. You know, I don't know if B came out in 2021, even though Dynamite came out in 2020. B came out in 2021. So hopefully they rectify that maybe next year. But here's my thing about the Grammys. So 2001, they lost my complete respect as any kind of award governing body. You know, I've been being disillusioned with award shows for a long time, including the Oscars, which used to be my, well, I love the Super Bowl because I love football, but it used to be my entertainment Super Bowl was watching the Oscars, but now I could give two poops about it, using Teresa's word. But the Grammys, 2001, NSYNC's nominated. Here's the it's the same category, by the way, that BTS was nominated for. Best pop performance by a duo or group with vocals. Steely Dan, Backstreet Boys, Bare Naked Ladies, The Corrs, and NSYNC. Bye Bye Bye, by the way, one of the biggest songs of all time, loses to Steely Dan in 2001. Do you know who Steely Dan is, Russell?
Oh, who is that? Teresa,
do you know who Steely Dan is?
No, all I know is that they were the ones who won over Hanson that year.
And that's 2. Angela, do you know who Steely Dan is?
Yes.
Oh, okay. One of us. I didn't know who they were until they beat NSYNC. And I know a lot of rock, especially 80s rock. Like 80s metal is like my jam. Like I listen to all of those 80s metal bands, like 80s rock, hard rock bands. Love them, all of them. But I no idea who Steely Dan was. And they win best pop performance over like legit pop groups. Backstreet Boys, Bare Naked Ladies, The Corrs, and NSYNC. Are you kidding me? Bye 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 was the Dynamite of its day. Like it was everywhere. It was more prevalent than the friggin' Frozen song when it came out. So bottom line, the Grammys don't matter. They really, really don't. In the grand scheme of things, they really, really don't. And this is why it doesn't bother me so much. I ranted more at Gene Simmons than I did at the Grammys because, you know, what Gene Simmons says is ignorant. That's why I get upset. I get upset at ignorance. Learn Gene Simmons. Learn who they are first. Learn that they have more writing credits than you, one of them out of the 7, 2 of them actually out of the 7 have more writing credits than you. 3 actually. J-Hope has more than you. I think about it. Anyway, Suga, RM, and J-Hope, by the way, those are the 3 that have. They each have, I think Suga and RM have 100 plus credits each. I don't know exact number. And then J-Hope's like between 80 and 90. So yes, they write their own music and other people's music too. So, and they write all of it. Like Suga's talking about in his telepathy interview, he's talking about the composition. He's talking about the melody. He talks about he gets the beat first, then the melody, then the lyrics, because he's a musician. All right. Getting back to that. And by the way, he's by far the 6 have said he's the best producer. J-Hope, Hobie confirmed that in an interview he did with him, saying that nobody produces better than Mean Suga. I'm saying the English version, but that's what the subtitle said. Anyway, so the Grammys don't matter because they're going to keep selling albums. They're going to keep selling out arenas. Their fans are going to keep growing. But as they get even bigger, as if they even can, they're going to get more haters. Like that's just the reality of the situation. And the Grammys are part of that. So who cares? Like I said, all respect to, I love Lady Gaga and especially Ariana Grande. I forgot that song even existed until the Grammys. You know, I thought WAP should have been probably in that. I think WAP won, but maybe it didn't. I don't know. Another great song. So to kind of close it out here before we go to the last break, Teresa, don't worry about it. BTS, this is just going to make them stronger. I feel sad for the boys because they so were excited about being nominated just in general. Like they legitimately, like when you hear, oh, it's just an honor to be nominated, most of the time the artists are BSing us. These boys were not. They were so excited, and they were so excited to perform on the Grammys. And yeah, it was a ratings grab for the Grammys to schedule them at the end. But the reason they did that is because they always schedule the biggest band or the biggest musical act at the end. So that's respect as well. And BTS knows that, and they killed it. I only got to see a minute and a half of that show. I can't find the whole performance online anywhere. I just see there's parts and it cuts on V's part and it cuts Suga's entire rap out and on every version I saw. So I don't know why. And I don't know if I can find it. If you guys have a link to one that's the full Grammy performance, please send it to me. But because I can't find one. I can only find people reacting to it where it shows part of the performance, but I haven't been able to see the whole performance. So I guess that's the Grammys punishing me for not watching their show, but whatever. I'm not going to give you the ratings. Don't deserve it. Plus I don't have cable. Ha. Although Russell told me there's this new thing called basic free cable, but you know, that's another time for another show. I didn't even know still existed. So we're going to go to break really quick. And then when we come back, we're going to say our goodbyes. And yeah, anyway, see you soon. Hope World.